Hey, my wonderful people, a pleasant evening to you. So it was good to see you, Minister Babsy Grange. I almost didn't recognize you. I thought I was looking on at your younger sister. I mean, the hairstyle and the features. You look different. You look like you've taken off. Like you could be easily in your late 50s. Or early 60s. You look youthful. You totally look different. Your face looks different, though. I had to look good to say, is this Minister Grange? Is this the Minister of Sport? How it go again? Me never yet know the ministry names them fully, believe you me, so forgive me. I mean, what good, glad that you have recovered and you seem to be in good spirit. You're back to your, vivacious, energetic, always abounding, in the job self, good to see that. I say this genuinely. And I realize, I guess it's because of the ministry that I know each minister wants to know that their ministry is doing something, but I've often believed in tiers, like you have, how do I put it? I would say in some instances you may say low tier, mid tier, high tier, but in this sense I will say what's most important, somewhat important and least important in that sense. That's a tier that I'm really referring to. So, because of the condition of our country, some things will take a little bit more precedence, namely, health, finance, education. These are the three areas that seem to have a progressive and a very pervasive curse that seem to not want to leave it. Like we can't seem to get a hold on crime and violence in an effectual and fervent way, where we can say crime is down from, let us say, for example, 1,000 to 100, because I have to keep it real. I know it won't be fully eradicated because we live in a broken world. Then you say, wow, from 1,000 to 100 to 10%, wow, 10% of the 1,000, like, wow, in terms of literacy, the only people that you probably would find illiterate is, let us say if it's maybe a few people from the traditionalist era, somewhat baby boomer, but more traditionalist era, or babies who are just born. So, I mean, we are like high 80s or 90s in terms of literacy. So most people are literate and they have what is called critical thinking skills. Not just critical thinking skills. Let's dissect that. They have what is called comprehension skills. When I say to you 1 + 1 = 2, do you really get why 1 + 1 = 2? Do you also comprehend that 1 + 1 is really 2 and not 11? And I'm saying all of that. I'm beefing it up. I'm putting the fluff and using hyperbole, exaggerating everything to say, I realize that, the National Stadium, I've been hearing talks about it, but, I wasn't sure until I saw it on the news just now of it going to be renovated in August 2025. I don't have a problem where that is concerned. I mean, the stadium wasn't horrid. It wasn't horrible looking. I mean, there's some things that can, some tweaking here and there. And again, each minister wants to know that his ministry is doing something. What would be so good is if you heard that investors came in, or there's a training program set up for the athletes so that when the next Olympic and World Game comes up, or those little meets that they earn from, that they're well equipped and they are well, facilitated, so that we don't just have 1 or 2 people who are named among the stars. So they're invested in, and then we expand it, and then slowly but surely we're going to refurbishing the stadium. But, it's almost like, you're dealing with the thing rather than the individual. You're dealing with the thing rather than the people. And as Warren Buffett says, one of the world's wealthiest men, the best investment is human resources. Because the athletes over the years have been complaining that they don't have this, they don't have that. I remember in fairly recent time when they were doing, what was it that they were doing? Something, and some from the rural had to come and stay at some people's house, and some end up staying at a guest house, motel, sex shop. kind of a situation, you know, sex. Yeah. So it would have been nice to hear that, because we have 3 areas that seem to be, they're like a sore thumb. They're like sores, like the leprosy that Job faced. And if it were not for divine intervention, it would have eaten away at him slowly but surely. That flesh-eating disease. Our health, education, and in terms of the safety of the people. And finance. Lord, I never see so much broke and poor and pauperized people in one country, so. I never see so many broke, poor, pauperized, depressed, down and out people like I'm seeing in Jamaica. And don't get me wrong, there are far more indigent countries across the globe than Jamaica. But I'm talking about a country that is a part of the Western world. Those countries that you see suffering is not part of the Western modernized world. The modernized, you hear the word modernized. So those are the countries that are indigent, really suffering and impoverished. They're not a part of the modernized world. And from I know this a country I can never come out of brands. We stuck in a brands. The bronze country. No wonder poor, what's her name there, that bronze spirit ended up passing on to her, Merlin Otti. Though she's really gold, for some reason the bronze would never leave her doorstep. Anywhere she got, the bronze follow her until she was dubbed the bronze queen. And there are far more important things that need to be done. Your best investment is human, and then you expand it and you deal with the infrastructure of those things. The infrastructure that needs to be dealt with are the roads, because most people, you know, use it, you know, and you want to find a way to cut down the cost, because cost of living is high, you know, inflation, yes, and all of these things. But you want to know that people are doing well at some level. Even when they're driving, they don't want to be suffering, because they're suffering otherwise. So they want to know. So, you know, I marvel at how we seem to put, you know, how I mentioned, most important, moderately important, least important. But we have switched things around. So we have least important as the governing, the overarching thing, then followed by moderately important, then most important comes at the very bottom of the food chain. While people remain broke, sick, depressed, down, out, pauperized, and ready to give up without hope. Without hope. And this is, the onus would not be solely on, I'm just speaking you because of the fact that it is in your ministry, and I just saw you, you know, again, you know, you've recuperated, and this is under your portfolio. And again, I understand that each minister wants to know that he or she is doing something under, you know, because remember, and after all, with the 200, 300% increase, you know, it is said that for the work to be done, we need premium salary so that we can give premium service to the people. You know, the mark of a true leader overall, you know, and this is just a general comment, is how they, being great, making others great. That's a mark of a true leader. So I am here, let us say you're at 100%. You should not even be below 80%. Financially, educationally, socially, and otherwise. Because you're the leader, you know, I mean, you're not the person that we need to hear. But they should not be less than 80%. The mark of any true leader is when you can pull people up to at least 80%. Then you would have done the whole duty of why you were created. Loving your neighbor, well, putting God above everyone and everything, and loving your neighbor as you love yourselves. You may not love yourself, so you may say, treat your neighbor the way you would want to be treated. So the priority for that for me, I should put that to maybe 2026, 2027. and deal with other areas, the finance, the education, the health for the people of Jamaica. Anyway, guys, we need a lion. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and TikTok. Have a great